Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we will the updates and the end of the story of a man who was kicked out by his father. So his golden child, half-brother, could move in, but then 6 months later they're begging him to lie to cover up his brother crime or they'll go to jail. If you haven't seen part 1 and part 2 yet, I highly recommend watching it on our channel first to fully understand the story and its progression. Let's get started. I've made a decision, and I think I'm going to stick to not helping them out. Not only is it immoral and unethical, but it's also straight up illegal, and I don't want any part of something like this. It's not just about the potential consequences for them, it's about what kind of person I want to be. If I help them, I'd be enabling something I don't agree with, and that's not something I can live with. I refuse to let their recklessness drag me into a situation that could ruin my life as well. So if my dad and Derek want to stay out of jail, they will have to sort this one out for themselves. It's not even like they are in immediate danger. They have been given the opportunity to set things straight, repay all the money that Derek stole, and get out of this without tarnishing their reputation completely. They have options, even if they don't want to take responsibility for their own actions. They can choose to return all the money and fix this for themselves, so I have no reason to feel guilty. Most of the comments here suggested that I stay out of this, not just because my father and Derek were terrible people, but also because what they were doing was genuinely awful. I wouldn't be able to have this on my conscience and move on with life as easily as they could. It's clear that we are not made of the same stuff, and honestly, I don't want to be. I don't want to become the kind of person who is okay with lying, stealing, and manipulating people to get out of trouble. That's why I've chosen to stay out of it. And if they contact me after this, I will block them. For the record, they are already blocked everywhere, but I'm sure that they will try to use different numbers or social media accounts to reach me. I wouldn't put it past them. My grandparents also think I'm doing the right thing by refusing to get involved, and that means a lot to me. They reminded me that this is a mess my father and Derek created on their own, so they are the only ones who should have to clean it up. It doesn't make sense for them to expect anything from me after the way they treated me for so long. Update 2. Hi, so my father reached out to me today through text, just like I had expected. It's been 8 days since he last visited me, and we haven't spoken since then. As I figured, he used a different number that I wouldn't recognize, and unfortunately, I accidentally answered the call. The second I heard his voice on the other end, I hung up. But I wasn't quick enough to block him before he was able to send me a text. In the message, he said that he knew I didn't want to discuss this any further, but he and Derek were in huge trouble and desperately needed my help. He said their employer was breathing down their necks and threatening them every single day to return the money, or else he would file a lawsuit against them. He told me they were running out of time and that I was their last hope. I'll admit, for a brief moment, I felt guilty. It's hard not to when your own father is begging you for help. But then I reminded myself that this situation was entirely his and Derek's fault. They had every opportunity to be decent people and make better choices. And they didn't, so I took a deep breath and I texted him back. I told him that I wouldn't be helping him and that he should really start looking for other ways to return the money instead of running away from the problem. I hit send, and then I blocked him. I don't know if he understood where I was coming from, and honestly, I don't care if he does. I just hope he finally realizes that he can't manipulate or guilt trip me into fixing his problems for him. He needs to take responsibility, and if he doesn't, then he will have to deal with the consequences of that. As much as I resent him for everything, I would hate to have a father in prison. But at the same time, if that's what happens, then it's on him, not me. Update 3. Hey, so I haven't heard back from my father yet. But my grandparents told me that they had gotten in touch with my mom's friend, the CEO, to ask him what he was planning to do. We hadn't contacted him before because he's a busy man, and we didn't want to overstep. But at this point, we needed to know what was going on. Speaking to my father or Derek was no longer an option, so we had to get information another way. So my grandpa called him, and he told us that he was still planning on filing a lawsuit if he didn't receive the money back in a couple of months. He said that because of his friendship with my mother, he was willing to be patient. But he couldn't just let the debt go. And honestly, I respected that. He was being way more lenient than most people would have been in this situation. A lot of people wouldn't have given them a chance at all. He even apologized to me, saying he was sorry that this was happening to me. That caught me off guard. No one involved in this mess had apologized to me. Not my dad, not Derek, no one. But I just told him that it was okay. It wasn't his fault, and besides, I don't even live with my father anymore. I've been trying my best to move forward with my life. And as much as this whole situation sucks, it's not my burden to carry. So right now, we don't know what's going to happen. But I have a feeling my dad is smart enough to realize that he needs to pay the money back somehow. He knows that if he doesn't, jail is a very real possibility. I don't know how he's going to do it, but I have nothing to worry about. I'm done letting this affect me. On a brighter note, I had a long conversation with my mom's friend, and he told me something really unexpected. He said that before my mom passed away, she had spoken to him about me. She told him that if I ever wanted to intern somewhere for some quick cash, or if I just needed a job in general, his door would always be open to me. That hit me hard. Even though she's gone, my mom is still looking out for me. She knew her time was coming up, so she made sure that I would always have people in my corners, especially after she's gone. It made me realize that no matter what happens with my dad and Derek, I'm going to be okay. I have people who care about me, people who support me, and I have my own life to focus on. And that's exactly what I plan to do. And that's the end of this story. What do you guys think about of the whole story? Let me know in the comment.